covered in oil, don't stand next to a fire.
What'd you do with my trailer?
How about a little fire, Scarecrow?
Don't you know the building is on fire?
Fire! Fire!
Sitting on the front porch with some rocking chairs, just staring at the lightning bugs.
The one lightning bug.
The one lightning bug.
He's right
Which-
behind us right now.
I don't know if this is true or not. Somebody, maybe you guys can let me know. I have a theory that lightning bugs, like the bees or something, are going away. I don't know if it's cell phones or AI or Jeff Bezos, but the lightning bugs.
There's got to be a study somewhere. We'll have to look it up at some point. Not right now, but like, there surely somewhere someone like has a number on lightning. They count everything.
Well, when I was a kid, you would ride your bike at night, and you would get smashed with like you would like be fluorescent. You'd be glowing.
Or driving at night, your
Yeah.
windshield would just get a glow on it all of a sudden.
It would be really cool, and one would hit and not die, but it would just like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's dying or if it died on blink. You know? It's
No,
like-
when you kill them, they blink.
and then the light just stays on.
Yeah. The reason I know that is gonna make me sound like a serial killer. One of my favorite things to do when I was little is I went to an Atlanta Braves game when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, and they were giving out to all the kids like miniature baseball bats. So it was like, I don't know, the quarter the size of a regular baseball bat. Perfect lightning bug hitting bat. Dude, that thing was caked in bug guts. My favorite thing in summer nights was
You had a lightning bat?
Yeah. My favorite thing at night in summer was to go out and just slam lightning bugs because when you hit them, they'd glow. And it was the ultimate game because you would see them blink across the yard and you'd have to run over to like the general area you saw it and wait for it to blink. You're like, okay, it went 3 feet left. Then you go over there and then it would blink and you'd hit it and it would light up and fly like it was so much fun.
I'm
dude.
sure PETA hates hearing that, but that's what every kid loved to do. They were like, they wanted to see the light up just so they would know where to attack the bug.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was
Some people would
nothing more
catch him
fun.
and put him in a mason jar, and those people were fucking nerds.
Yeah. You hit them with a bat, dumbass.
No, if you were lucky, you could
Those
squeeze
were the
it.
kids who called them fireflies. That's
Fireflies. I don't know why lightning bug is.
it's a lightning bug.
I think that's like soda and pop.
Isn't there 3 names for it? Lightning bug, firefly, and there's something else, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm sure in Canada or something like that, they're like, oh, we call those luminescent
I
mosquitoes.
think it is in Europe. I think they call them like fairy flies or something like that. I swear it's a super gay name for sure.
I'm gonna go smoke a on the porch and try to catch fairy flies.
Dude.
Cut.
Just based off of my current batting average, I can tell you firefly numbers are down.
The most fun I ever had in my life, I don't know how wild this is, but the cicadas come out. Which, I mean, like, I know cicadas is the technical term. We always just call them locusts, right?
Yeah, it's locust.
Locust.
Is that a different thing?
I don't know. It's just
Is a cicada and a locust a different thing? Jamie, look that up.
This is one thing I've never Snapple fact to check.
Yeah.
Because I've got this new thing I'm doing where I refuse to Google shit. I'm just going off of what I've got up here.
Yeah.
I'm done Googling stuff. I'll tell you when it happened. Me and Kayla were driving up to a comedy festival in Erie, Pennsylvania, and as we're driving, she's like, what's the difference between Amish and Mennonite? And I go to pull up my phone, I type it in, I see the article. It's a fucking mile long. And I'm just like, no. And she goes, you don't know? I said, I won't know. I ain't reading this shit.
I won't know.
I'm done Googling it. I'm like, and what I told her was like, I'm just going to pretend that Amish people, I'm going to go off what I've got in my head.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the math with what I've got, a
All right.
pencil, because
Let
I
me-
don't have a calculator in my pocket anymore.
Let me tell you what I think the difference is, and obviously I don't know either, but I'm going to say that like Amish is like a hardcore Mennonite, right? Like the Amish is as far as you can go in one direction. My assumption is that the Mennonites are allowed to do like a little more electricity. Like
A
that's-
little more electricity.
Yeah, that like Amish is like
You guys can have like one power strip.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Like I've been to Mennonite and Amish communities because my grandfather was a psycho, and he, as backroad Baptist as you can get, right? Went to a church of like 6 people, but he believed that the Amish doctors were better than the what they call the world doctors. What the Amish people call it, like they're of the
You mean
world,
like
whatever.
trained doctors, people who went to school and don't use
Correct.
fucking,
Correct.
they don't use rusty blades to let the ghosts out of your blood.
So he found out he had cancer, and he was telling his Amish friend, because he went to the Amish people to buy a bunch of stuff because he was a pawn shop, farmer, rug trader, bait shop. So a lot of stuff he got came from Amish, cedar stuff and all that. Anyway, so he's over there, tells them he's got cancer, and they're like, we can take care of that for you. That's not a problem. Cancer is of the devil, and we are the Lord. We can help you, blah, blah, blah.
I'm going to need you to unplug your crock pot. when you get home. You'll be
No,
registering.
he was not giving up Weather Channel or his favorite TV show, Heartland, which is just a show about a girl in Canada on a horse ranch, I think. Anyway, he wasn't giving that shit up for nothing. But he talks to this Amish doctor, and like a week later, he's like, I feel 1,000,000% better. And we're like, really? Did you finally go to the doctor? He's like, yeah, I went to the Amish doctor. I'm like, what did he give you? Like fucking
Maggots.
Yeah, did you put leeches on your eye or whatever?
He's
like,
sucked
no.
out the tumor. You're not gonna believe it.
No, he gave me medicine, and I was like, well, he can't do that because it's like medicine's like pharmacists, and they don't believe.
What do
in
they
that.
do? Churn you up some chemotherapy?
So, finally, like me and Dad go to his house one day, and he's like, "See, there's my Amish medicine. It is a milk crate of tinctures, and it's like milk thistle, and it's just all like witchcraft shit. It's just like ginseng root, and the main ingredient in all of them was spirit. So I smell them. It's liquor. They're just giving him liquor. He's like, I feel
great.
He's like, I feel great. I'm like, yeah, because you're hammered all the time, dude.
Mornings have been a little rough because cancer and all.
No, he started every morning with a solo cup full of this stuff. And it was like 70% alcohol. He was just drinking a full solo cup of moonshine to start his day every day at 70 years old. And like he was teetotaler, no drinking, no alcohol, no tobacco, nothing. So to go from teetotaler, not drunk at all, to just hammered drunk every day, yeah, his last 5 years were amazing. He thinks the Amish did it. I know alcohol did it. And that's why I think, personally, we should just be drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Work for my grandpa.
What do they do if you have like a broken bone or something?
I don't know.
Because you can't drink that away.
I don't know. Put their fucking lamb chops on it and pray real hard. I don't know.
Put an non-electric fireplace in your arm.
See, here's what kills me about the Amish community, because like I said, I had to go over there to pick up stuff for him all the time, especially after he got cancer and had to start taking his medicine. It made it hard for him to drive. Yeah, no shit. You're fucked up all the time. So I had to go over and pick up stuff all the time. And so I spent a lot of time with the Amish. And them is the biggest bunch of loopholing motherfuckers, dude. Whatever they can do to get around the rule that they made up for themselves. I've never in my life seen a group of people do that so hard. Like, they have decided that electricity is the devil. But if that electricity comes from a generator that is fueled by gas, totally fine.
Like
They
every time
run
I'm in,
everything off of generators, dog.
I've been to Gatlinburg a bunch in my life, and Pigeon Forge, and you always just see a 15-passenger van where an Amish person gets out and pulls out his cell phone, flips it open. I'm like, wait a fucking minute.
If it's young guy, it might be a Springer.
No, it's not, because he's got like his family with him. He's taking his kids to go to the Chinese Acrobat
Those
Theater
are
and watch
probably
them do
Mennonite.
flips. So, okay, here's the thing. So you're Mennonite, so you still have the stupid beard. You just hate mustaches, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it has something to do with like.
This is
scripture.
what I told Kayla. I go to read it, and it was saying something along those lines that Mennonites are religion, it's less strict, and then there's old world Amish, and then there's new world Amish, and all this other horseshit. I'm like, I'm not fucking Amish people. To me, just believe in witchcraft, and they dress like witches, and then they make the best donuts I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, they do make
without electricity,
donuts.
which sounds like witchcraft. But if you're asking, dude, to me, this is what a Mennonite is from now on out. See if you can get behind this.
Mennonite.
A Mennonite is a little fish with a helmet and a sword, dude. That's how I'm living life from now on out.
Like, Mennonite are allowed to see, they're allowed to have electricity, but they still can't have TVs and shit like that. But see, they all lie about it because my dad, but being the highbrow man of leisure that he is, with all of his classy habits, he raccoon hunted Mennonite property a long time ago, and he wasn't allowed to go on the property without one of them with him, right? So he would just go by this guy's house every night, pick him up, throw him in the truck. They can ride in a truck, just can't drive them, right? So he put him in the truck, and then they just go coon hunting together, right? Him and his buddy, and then this Mennonite guy. Well, he said every night that they would pull up, if they could sneak in the driveway without him knowing, the TV would be on. But they're not supposed to have a TV. So then they would knock on the door, TV would go off, they'd cover it with a blanket as if it disappears all of a sudden.
Oh, Kayla's grandparents were Pentecostals, so every time the preacher came over, they would roll the TV over the hill. And they kept going and buying new TVs, and then they would roll floor models over the hill. They'd get rid of them and be like, that's the devil. And they're like, WrestleMania is coming up. Can't miss WrestleMania. So they'd go out and buy a new damn TV. So there's somewhere in a holler in Southwest Virginia at the bottom of a mountain, it's just a shitload of CRT TVs.
One of the times I was over at the Amish, this was Amish, not Mennonite. I was over at the Amish place and picking up cedar chips. The guy, he asked me about I had switched trucks. I'd bought a new truck, and I was like, yeah, I found it in a bargain finder. He's like, what is a bargain finder? And I was like, it's like a magazine. It has sales in it. It's like Facebook Marketplace for people who don't come from where we're from. It's Facebook Marketplace in paper form. I was like, I found it in a bargain finder. He's like, what's that? And I was like, it's just a classified ad. I was like, do you guys not get that out here? And he's like, oh, no, we don't have anything like that. I was like, here, I'll show you one. I had one laying on the dash of the truck. Fucking, of course I did. So I showed it to him, and he was like, oh, these numbers are the people who have the stuff. And I'm like, yep. And they have phones, but they're only allowed to use it for business. It's like a real, they don't call each other, but they do have a phone that they all community use inside this little thing. And
I just think it's a bunch of motherfuckers who dress like witches with no mustaches
evasion,
and
dog.
avoiding taxes. That's
Tax
all
evasion.
they're doing.
Anyway, so
And then they try to do that horse shit on TV where they're like, the Amish mafia. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Y'all can use guns now? Get the fuck out of here. What's Hezekiah going to do?
They can
Come
always
shake
use
me
guns.
down with a hoe and a pickaxe? Get the fuck off my front lawn, you fucking weird beard fuck.
so
I'm going to go. What do they do to send a message? Just break the leg on one of the... Is that like popping a tire on your car?
break a leg on the spoke.
No, you break a leg on the horse.
Oh, I was thinking on like their wagon thing.
No, you
they
just
pull
put down one of their horses and be like, yeah, I fucking totaled his car. Totaled his Clydesdale.
So I was like, here, you can keep that one. I'll get me a note. They were 75 cents, right? And he's like, I can't take it. And I'm like, it's seriously no problem, dude. Just take, it's last week's anyway. Another one comes out on Wednesday. He's like, no, I'm not allowed to take gifts. And I was like, you can't accept gifts? He's like, no, it's not part of the culture. I'm like, okay, do you have like a handful of sawdust you can give me? He's like, how about cheese? Well, I mean, I'm a cheese eating motherfucker. I ain't gonna turn down cheese. So I traded a block of cheese for a bargain finder with the Amish people one time. Some fire ass fucking cheese too, dude.
That's when you gave him the tips. You're like, dude, check out them personal ads right there. That'll blow your mind how desperate some of these bitches are. Kayla loves Amish people, and I can't understand why. So anytime we're anywhere with an earshot of these goofy bastards, she's like, do you think there's Amish people? Can we go? Maybe we'll get butter. And then we drove one time on Christmas Day because there's nothing to do on Christmas. We found out there was an Amish community close by. So we're like, fuck it, let's drive up there.
Yep.
We drive up there. Spookiest shit I've ever seen in my life because they're all on pedalless scooters.
Yep.
Which I guess like all scooters are pedalless, but there were bicycles that had been converted into scooters. So they're standing up on bicycles.
Yep.
These big ass aluminum frame bicycles. Because you guys, got TIG welders now that work on fucking Christian magic? What? You Dutch weirdos?
Dude,
We can make donuts, fireplaces, the hell out of a table that we're going to charge you $6,000 for.
We'll raise a barn today. I don't understand how they get away with just lying to themselves so often. And the good thing is the Amish people are one of the last few like communities of people that you can openly make fun of and you're totally going to get away with it.
Probably not.
How? Who's what? They can't see it. What?
If there's any Amish motherfuckers watching right now, I dare you to comment.
Yeah.
I dare you to
So I
comment,
said,
pussy.
even if they do watch and then find out, they're like,
Yeah,
man,
they
that's
can't.
fucked up. What are they going to do? They can't admit that they watched it. It's against their.
Well, I've got family members who are Pentecostal and whatnot, and they're not allowed to have a TV. But yet they have a joint Facebook.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the
Bob and Gertrude.
my grandpa.
Which means Bobby must have been doing some. He must have been messaging
that's
some
the
girls.
only time a joint Facebook pops up is when
Anytime you
somebody
see
can't be trusted with
When
a
you
Facebook
see a blank
Messenger.
and blank, it's like, ooh, somebody can't have a Facebook by themselves.
Yeah.
Not without me monitoring your Facebook.
My grandpa.
Baby, I get it for Marketplace. No, you don't. You get it for that whore who works at the Sicko. You don't think I can't smell Pall Malls and Mountain Dew on your collar every time you come home from Hardee's? Yeah, you just getting a biscuit.
and I don't smoke Pall Malls. I smoke Camels, and you know that.
Sounds like you was getting some jelly with your biscuit, you son.
Have you heard Hardee's has a new strawberry lemon biscuit? Mm. I haven't had it, but God, sounds good. Anyway, my grandpa was equally as Kayla is obsessed with the Amish and Mennonite people, and like my grandma's a big old whore. We've already been over that, and she was cheating on him with her. She was secretary of a guy, cheating on him with that guy. Blah blah blah. So she left him.
I will say this: if we're gonna do a Mount Rushmore of affairs, secretary.
Oh yeah,
That goes up there. I don't have a need for a secretary, babe. Can we get a secretary?
Yeah.
But just the idea
Secretary,
of working your
nanny.
ass off It's like your rich bitch wife who doesn't fucking, all she does is just spend your damn money.
Yeah.
She's out there screwing the pool boy. She doesn't have
Here's
time
some
for you.
25-year-old tight-bodied blonde comes in who's like, sir, there's a call for you on line one. You're like, oh, I like that you do things for me.
It's like I've been slaving my life away to build an empire, and here you walk in with a pencil skirt to push up. Bro, what am I supposed to do? I'm only human.
Exactly. It's not even their fault if you think about it. He was obsessed with Amish people, and because my grandma left him, he just stayed single for like the rest of his life. And I remember, like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years before he died, like when he got super into Amish culture, he's like, I tell you what, if I had to do it over, I'd get me one of them.
Get you an Amish?
I was like, get you one of them what? He's like, one of them Amish girls. And I was like, I don't think you can just, well, maybe you can. I don't know how they work. You might be able to go over and be like, I have got a damn fine goat in the truck. And your daughter looks like she'd look good if I shaved her legs.
Hey, I'll tell you what I can't believe it's not butter. Why don't you try it and tell me? You're an expert. Come on.
But yeah, that was it. I was always his thing. He's like, if I had to do over, I'd get me an Amish girl. You just go to the
My
store and pick
grandfather
one
was
up.
obsessed with Japanese girls. And I was
Well,
like,
did he kill?
That's the thing is like he was over in Japan and over in Korea as well. He was in the Korean War and then got stationed in Japan and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So he was always watching like Japanese movies.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you a ween? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I was like, the only thing he wasn't
Weeb.
doing was weeb?
Yeah.
What's a ween?
It's a children's name for your penis.
This is the back of your elbow? Is
No,
that
that's
a
your
weenus?
weenus.
There we go. So my grandfather was a weenus, and I thought he was really into Asian culture. And then one day we're sitting there, and then all the women went upstairs. And, that's, God, the worst thing you can do is be alone with an old dude.
Absolutely.
Because you can start the timer, 5, 4. They're just itching to
Yep.
lean over and say the horniest shit
And
you've
it always
ever
starts like
heard.
this. Hey. You know what my favorite tasted pussy is?
You know what I say? I'd swim through a river of her shit just to see where it come from.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ.
Does
Does grandma know you're this horny at this age?
One of the last things my other grandpa, they're both dead, but the one who died first, one of the last things he ever said to me and my uncle are sitting on the front porch very much like this. And he was like super quiet, conservative, like just, he wasn't very outspoken about anything and never talked dirty or anything like that. You very, very seldom heard him say a cuss word. And if it was damn or hell, right? Yeah. One of those guys, not super religious, but just very quiet and conservative. Me and my uncle are sitting there and we're talking about, my uncle's only like 10 years older than me. So we're talking about like sex stuff. But we're like, my grandpa's sitting right there at the end of the table. And
You're talking about sex stuff with your uncle.
yeah, that's what, okay. What, you funny, a family fucking full of losers? Your uncle didn't get laid? Whatever.
No,
I can't help but your
It's a
uncle
very
couldn't
common myth that if you're going to get touched by somebody, it's a handsy uncle.
Yeah, well, I didn't say
He's
it
like,
didn't-
hey, what do you think about sex? You ever seen one of these before?
Listen, one thing leads to another. It's all family. It ain't no big deal. Well, anyway, so we're talking. I mean, we're not like telling sex stories or whatever. We're just talking about like celebrities, hot chicks, like sexual stuff. And
You're just talking about girls that you think are hot. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, you think that's hot? I appreciate that too.
yeah,
Kind of like when two guys see like a nice car go by. They're like, damn, I'd love to have me a 67 Chevelle.
yeah. So we're just naming celebrities, talking about stuff like that, and as it does, it gets a little dirtier. So it's like, man, I tell you what, there ain't a whole lot I wouldn't do to Jessica Alba. I mean, I would, and we're trying to say things quietly, like how kids talk around parents, where you like say things in like coded words or whatever. So I was like, I tell you what, Jessica Alba can get it, and she can get all of it any way she wants it. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't think he's even listening. He's just staring off into the stars. His body's riddled with cancer at this point. He's bald, and we're just like sitting 6 foot from this old man staring at the end of his life while we just are having a good time amongst ourselves. And he just turns around, and this is a man who's never said anything remotely dirty in my entire life. Turns around and he goes, I tell you what, boys, sometimes you get a hold of one, you just got to grab both those ass cheeks and just sump it up to the balls. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, fuck. I will never forget that. That is a moment that will, like, of all of my memories of that man who practically raised me, that is by far my favorite, because it's like, oh, you've been a dirty old man your whole life. You just kept it quiet, didn't you, you dirty little bastard?
I like him Amish girls because they can't squeal. They can't call the police.
No, this was not the Amish obsessed grandpa.
Oh,
It was the other one.
no, my grandfather was. So he was sitting there. He was.
Oh
watching,
yeah, Japanese. Sorry.
Oh no, so my grandfather was sitting there watching TV, and like some hot Asian women came on TV, and he's like, "God, I miss me my geisha girls," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "He's like, yeah," and then he looks back at the women, and I'm just sitting there silent, and he looks back at the TV, and he goes, "God, all these beautiful naked women, and here I am sitting here with this dead, dirty dick." And he was like, I was like, geisha girls. And I was like, what about grandma? And he goes, well, son, here's what happens. When you're over in war, it's stressful. And you've been away from your family for a long time. You don't know if death is coming to knock on your door. And you might be leaving this world. And you don't want to leave the world with any regrets.
Or a full set of nuts.
You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave this planet and go to the greater beyond with a heavy set of balls, son. You got to empty them out. You're an angel. You can't fly with all the semen weighing you down. So he was like, they had this thing called nickel good times, and I was like,
You're turned into an angel. You can't be weighed down by heavy cum-filled balls.
that's how you go to hell, son. Being too heavy to float up 1,000 feet in the air, you know.
I love picturing your grandpa and grandma getting in an argument because he cheated on her with a geisha girl. And he's like, listen, do you want me to go to hell, Margaret? Is that what you want?
So he called him nickel good times. I was like, nickel good times. I was
Whoa.
like, what kind of prostitute are you? What kind of man are you? What kind of dude are you railing for
Yeah.
a nickel? I mean, I understand inflation's a bitch.
Right, yeah.
And he's older than dirt, but a nickel?
And Nick, yeah,
You always hear
nickel.
people like, you used to be able to buy a cup of coffee for a nickel, and I'm just like, you won't believe what they're giving away in
Cup of coffee.
a cup of coffee. How about empty balls and smile? You have a real good time. Throw her a quarter, let her know she'll be back. So he went, so I'd have me a nickel good time, and then that would satiate me, and then the urges would go away, and you could go back on about your life. And then about a couple days later, and I was thinking he'd done it once, twice. I'm like, this motherfucker was doing it every day. And then the wildest thing was I found out that my grandmother was on the base with him.
Come on, son. You've seen your grandma.
Come on, son. You've seen her. Come on, dude. Well, somebody's got to watch the kids. While she's doing that, I've got an alibi because no cell phones. We're basically Amish people out here just churning each other's butter, you know?
It's amazing to me. First of all, that it was only a nickel. That blows my mind. But secondarily, I love
It was only a nickel to blow his mind.
that he's like, satiated the urge, it fixed the problem. As if that was the alternative. Like, I had the urge to cheat. So in order to cure that, I cheated. That got rid of the urge to cheat. It's like you don't get to use the nickel good time as like, oh, that's what I had to do to get over that. That's the thing you wanted.
But he made it like I was like on his side for all of about 2 seconds because he was just like the threat of war. I'm like, I don't know what that's like. He goes, all your buddies are dying. I'm like, I don't know what that's like. And then I find out that the nickel good time wasn't even in Korea where the war happened. It was in Japan when he was on a cushy-ass base because, 20 years later, they're rebuilding, and he's got this awesome city with just... Because he said geisha girls, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's what's geisha, right? But I'm pretty sure that's not Korea.
And that sounds like it was straight shit from your grandpa, not geisha. That was fucking terrible. I'm sorry.
But
those were dudes, by the way.
yeah, for sure.
Like, it would have been so hard for me.
He's just
to
like the
not,
biggest glitch you've ever seen. Me on.
it would be
Ron
so.
was always... Your grandma's always like, now he can't find it. And I was like, well, I could on these old girls. I stuck straight up in there and let you know where
Yeah, the hole was right under the balls, right? right there.
I was like, oh, that's the thing I'm supposed to have been flicking. I ain't going to lick it because I'm a Christian. When do you think dudes started eating us?
Oh, I guarantee you, dude, have you seen like all of the old timey like
Pornos?
no, what is the Revolutionary era dudes were the absolute filthiest filthmongers of all time.
That's true.
And like there's a lot of collections of like poems and stuff that people like not Ben Franklin
Like
specifically.
Beethoven was one.
Yeah, dude.
Or
he
one
was
of those fucking composers.
it was Beethoven.
They were talking about like sniffing
filthy
farts. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, your farts smell like cherry tarts. I'm like, I'm fucking glad you went deaf, you fucking weirdo, or blind, or whatever the hell you are.
You know what is weird is I always thought that like Beethoven was this savant, this prodigy, who wrote all this stuff deaf. He didn't like just be deaf. He got deaf. He did all that shit before he was deaf. I didn't know that. I was like, how does that motherfucker even know it sound good? That's wild. Is he doing it on vibrate? It's like a bat thing, ain't it? It's echolocation. He can feel the vibration of the keys, and he knows.
That's like looking at Muhammad Ali when he was like at the end of his life with Parkinson's, and you're like, how did he beat up George Foreman?
That's exactly, dude. I thought Beethoven was
like
deaf
maybe
his
he's
whole
moving
life.
a lot. That's the defense, hard to hit.
I thought he was born deaf. And I was like, it's crazy that this young child who had never heard a note wrote all these beautiful. And that's not true. Not true at all. He wrote a bunch of cool shit and then just got deaf.
Just got deaf. Here's the other thing too, like about he had the poems about like, oh, your farts smell like cherry tarts, and I know you're not supposed to kink shame, but yes, we are.
Yeah.
Can we bring it back? Sometimes it's just
bring bullying back.
fucking weird. Ever since I started doing comedy and I started putting some clips out,
Yeah.
my DMs have been opened up to just the weirdest shit of all time.
Yeah.
Of just people asking what they can do. And like, to me, imagine if you're a young hot that's out there. Oh my God. The Matt Rifes of the world.
Oh,
I just can't imagine the dick pics that are just flooding his inbox.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it does. It's a little flattering, though, right?
No, because here's the one that I got that really pissed me off. A guy just goes, would clap. And I was like, and I responded back, well, I don't want you to clap. I want you to laugh. I'm a comedian. And
He meant like clap those cheeks.
Yes. And then I got hurt because he didn't say he wanted to clap. He said he would clap. Like if I had to have sex with a comedian, it'll be if I have to. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm not even the Pepsi of hot male comedians.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the doctor enough. I'm like,
All
I didn't
right.
even know we had you on the menu. But
Gun
I
to
guess
my head, I'll fuck him. No one asked you to fuck. It's fine. I'll do
if I
it.
have to. Fine. I'll fuck him. Does that make everybody happy?
I wonder what my neighbors think is happening right now. Just screaming, fine, I'll fuck him.
All right, we're back.
Oh, shit.
Had to get me another claw.
I wouldn't kill my wife, probably.
Did you catch any of that?
I don't know. She
We were talking about our wives both having leg bruises.
Yeah.
I was like, look at you pretty ladies in your shorts with leg bruise. Why
First
are you
of all,
both
you
bruised?
said, look at you pretty bitches, not ladies.
Oh, come on. I had to keep it PG for the sponsors. This episode is brought to you by MetLife Insurance.
And power strips. Your lady starts getting real loud on you, tune her up.
She goes, well, I had an incident with a power strip. Yeah. I was like, what'd you do, unplug his Xbox? I done told you I got a Madden career going on. I got to start that over again.
Dude, I swear to God, if the A's don't trade me on MLB The Show, I might fucking quit baseball. That is not a joke. The team is so bad. Like, I am just hitting dingers every game, and we cannot get ahead.
I'm doing my part. I'm pulling my weight.
Absolutely. It's just, can't get the bats going, man. It's tough.
I've never gotten into one of those games where like you do a sim or you do a life or you have a family or build your, like you're doing right there with your career.
Yeah.
You're living through the game. I've never done that, but I'm wondering if that's just because they haven't invented the thing that I would care about.
Which would be?
Fuck if I do. Appalachian Trail Hero. And I'm like, yes, I get to go to REI and buy shit that I'm never going to use in real life.
You love a fucking upgrade.
I do.
That's
I
the
love
only thing you
upgrades.
like.
It's the only games I like is upgrading. I want to like. I did have a real bad habit with the Simpsons game. I did spend a little bit of too much money on them donuts. You could buy a box of donuts and then you could unlock like
like on your phone?
Yeah, it's like the tap
Oh,
game.
I was like, what Xbox game do you buy stuff?
Well, it's like you get a house, but like if you want to get the carport and the garage and stuff, you got to pay donuts. If you don't have, you got to earn enough coins, and if you don't have enough coins, then you can. Donuts are like the cheater thing.
Bro, that's Candy Crush.
That is Candy Crush.
All those
buying extra lives.
you got the invite to Farmville, and they put Homer's face on. You're like, all right, I'll give it a
All
shot.
right, that's exactly what it was. But they always package it really nice. It's like, look, you get 6 Duff beers, you get a new skin. Fuck anybody who's ever changing the skin on anything.
Yeah.
Because like if games aren't addictive enough, who is sitting there being like, I gotta accessorize. I gotta make sure that my character has a bandana wrapped
Dude,
around.
Fortnite made billions of dollars just from that.
Because one kid
It's
wanted
a
to
free
look like a
game.
banana or some shit.
Yeah, it's a totally free game, but all their money comes from kids buying skins.
I did get into a bad gaming thing here recently because you talked me into buying one of those Oculus
Bro.
headsets. And here's the thing. I thought it was super lame. I'm also really good at it for some reason. I downloaded Beat Saber and I was playing on expert immediately. I was like, what's so fucking hard about this? And I'm in the living room and I'm like,
Do you groove with it? Do you
I fucking groove. I'm hip hopping. I'm fucking sweating. I'm just like, and I'm smashing these boxes and I'm going for style points and I'm like, God damn it, I look cool right now. And then you come out of the world because it's so immersive, and then you come out and then you realize you're in your living room and then your dog is just staring at you like, what's wrong with Daddy? And I was like, I can't be. I can't do Xbox or these other video games because I just feel like I'm already doing enough shit that makes people think that I'm a loser. Like, I'm already spending enough time at open mics drinking White Claws.
Sorry, I shouldn't have agreed with that so heavily, so quickly.
I'm already drinking White Claws, doing a podcast on a front porch.
Yeah.
Pissing off the neighbors in the HOA. I don't need them thinking like, well, he's wasting his life on Xbox and all this other frivolous video game shit. I'm like, I'm an adult, so I can't do that.
But if you go into an alternate reality.
No, I was like, I can't do that either because I'm holding the things it's even worse. But I was like, well, I'll keep it because I can put it on. And I can watch giant flat, I can be in the movies, like a movie theater. I can watch a giant IMAX movie.
Porn, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Why are they so big? The tits are huge. Oh, God, it's going to crush me. I didn't know I was into that. No, here's what I found out. I found out it works in chair mode. So you don't have to be standing. That was the weird part, was I was just walking around my apartment. I was like, I can do this in chair mode. And I was just like, the toilet is basically a chair, huh?
It sure is.
So I go, and it's like, it's not porn, I swear to God. I was sitting there was this game called Arizona Sunshine, which is you just have a dog that's like your buddy.
Yeah.
It's actually named Buddy, and you go around and you kill zombies. So I'm sitting on the toilet.
From the shitter.
Because I'm like, well, I'm going to be on the toilet having my vacation poop anyways.
Right.
20 minutes minimum. Come on. You think I'm a bitch? You think I'm some kind of a pussy? No, if I'm going in there, that's my office. That's my me time. So I'm going to be in here killing 20, 30 minutes anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well kill a few zombies while I'm killing time.
30 minutes. What are you doing? A quick one? Don't lie to the people.
I didn't want the fans to judge. No, so like I'm sitting there and I'm shooting zombies, having the time of my life. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I was doing it every morning. And I was like, I got to stop because I noticed that I was having a bunch of like cuts on my knuckles. I was like, what in the hell's going on? Why are my knuckles so scratched up?
You're punching the wall.
I was fitting the fuck out of that one. You don't understand when there's a zombie breathing down your neck and you're trying to reload, dude. You're just like, and you're like, fuck. But then the adrenaline's pumping because you're in the world of the zombies. You're like, I'll deal with that shit later. Problem is you catch it 2 days later when you're sitting at a nice restaurant with your family and you look down and you're like,
are you a cage fighter by chance? Yeah, I've won a few rounds.
That and I work on houses, so I'm always scratched up from like, just general demolition.
Yep.
But I don't look like I work on houses. I look like I work at...
I don't know. You kind of look like you work on houses.
The mullet has changed everything, dude.
You look like you spent some time under a house, maybe taking some copper pipe. Or
I'm too fat to be a meth head. God, I'm going to get on that meth Zempic, dude.
It works. I've never seen a fat meth head.
We were in the car the other day, and there was a homeless guy that was going around, and he had his sign, and it just said, anything will help. And he's like, I showed it to the 4 cars, and he didn't even give it a sales pitch. He was just like, blah, blah. He was showing it like, it was like, when an ad starts, and then it goes to the next ad real quick, because like Netflix fucked up, and it gave you like 2 seconds of something it wasn't supposed to show. I'm getting sober,
it's a problem. Here we go.
Yep. He was like, help, 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 help. And then nobody helped, and he was like, and then he walks back and he's like, motherfucker. And he just starts like, but the whole time I was just like, his shoulders are so defined.
I don't know, call me crazy.
No wonder he can sleep in these sub-zero temperatures.
This
Baby, did you know that I was into delts? I want more deltoid activation. I was also thinking about that when I had my Oculus and I was on the toilet. I was like, this is weird, but this is how I know I'm not gay. Because, like, sure, we all wish that our penises were bigger. I'm sure every man has thought that. But I've never once wished that for me. I've only wanted to shut up my wife another 4 inches. You know what I'm saying? I've never wanted more deltoid activity. I was like, I wish this was harder. You know? I wish this was a more laborious process.
The fact that I can anchor the wrist's not bad, actually. If you think about it, it's conserving calories. Yeah. And in a survival situation, that's what's important.
And then, like, and if a genie could give me a bigger wiener, I probably wouldn't, because my wife's, she's always like, the big ones hurt. So I'm like, well, I wouldn't do that to you.
Which is such a backhanded. No, I love yours. The big ones hurt.
The big ones hurt.
Okay, well, you can act like it hurts a little.
I'm like, I bet. Well, here's the thing, though. Because I'm like, have you ever eaten a Hot Pocket?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then you go to a hotel.
I've dabbled.
You go to a hotel sometimes and they've got those extra long Hot Pockets.
Uh-huh.
And you're just like, man, I have so much more to enjoy. I'm starting to wonder, is a wiener like that with ladies? Is like, oh, I really enjoy.
I could use another bite.
Like if they get another sleeve of ham and cheese, is that, you know what I'm saying? Does this track with, is this thing on? Does anybody know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is if I was going to suck a dick, I would want pizza or ham and cheese. It's the only two good flavors.
Here's the thing. If I had to, I'd want it to be a good one.
That's true.
If I was like, they're like, would you suck a dick for $1 million? What if they were like that and then, they pull it out and it's just like a micropene? Some guys would be like, thank God I'm less gay. I'm like, no, you're still doing the deed.
That's true.
But if I'm going to do it.
I think if you're taking it in the ass, though, you're going to want a small one, right?
Yeah, you want me. That's when I'm top of the food chain.
Are you asking to fuck me? Is that what's happening right here?
No, I'm just saying, whenever my wife, if I'm, you're like knocking on the back door and you're like, come on, let me in. Come on, I forgot my keys. Let me in. I don't want to walk around. Just let me in. And she's like,
I know the back door.
No, I don't like it. It hurt. No. I'm like, come on. Just be
You ain't
glad it's
gonna notice
me.
it. Yeah.
It could be so much worse. Or whenever girls do that, I'm like, come on. I say that, but then I gag every time I brush my teeth, too. So I'm like, my dick could be as big as a fucking travel toothbrush.
Well, see, that's the other problem. If you look at it the other way, is like I've watched my wife brush her teeth and she does gag on the toothbrush sometimes. Never once gagged on my dick. And like, I'm not packing heat, but like, I've held it up next to a toothbrush. It's bigger, So like, why's the toothbrush getting back there and I'm not? I'll just say this. Maybe if you tried as hard there as you did when you're brushing your teeth, maybe if this thing solved cavities, you put a little effort into this.
Maybe if 2 out of 3 dentists recommended this cock. You just got to scrub her tongue. That's what it is. That's for me. It's the back of the tongue. It's never like the molars. The molars are way back there. But then they're like, you got to brush the back of your tongue so your breath doesn't smell like shit. I'm like, all right. And then like I get to the mid-tongue. Mid-tongue just... And I turn into a dog after it's like...
I don't like that they're whispering. What's going on over there?
I gotta be honest, Kayla does not gag when she brushes her teeth. And she's using the electric one too.
Yeah,
so
I didn't want to say it because like I didn't want that out there for the world. I don't have a gag reflex.
Wait, no one prompted you to say it. You just offered that up like you couldn't wait. You're like, wait. Like it was show and tell and everybody's like, I'm sure you have a talent. And he's like, well, actually...
Victory's a victory. Okay. No, we were talking about like you're like
dude,
you were talking about how you gag every time you brush your teeth, you get the mid tongue, and I'm like, yep. But that's not true for me. Because I could take the whole toothbrush, the hair dryer, it doesn't matter. There's nothing going on in the back
It's
of my
different with you though. That's not a gay thing. That's you can tell by your face. You have carnies in your lineage, dude. You have some sword swallowers.
You're gonna be like, you can tell by your face, you suck dick. Like for sure.
No. There's some people who are like, hey, watch this.
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I have no gag reflex.
There was a show and tell in my...
Hear that, boys?
Hey, if you want to join our Patreon,
I'll
be on John's OnlyFans. John's OnlyFans. Freudian slip, but that's probably accurate.
Yeah. And I don't know who you are, but thank you, sir. Because I'll take a compliment where I can get it. Like that. What was that guy that commented on your...
Would clap? He just goes, I would clap. I've never had that level of enthusiasm. Can you develop a stutter mid-podcast? I've never had that level.
Hey, there's some comics who've made a fortune being that. I love that it wasn't like, damn, I'd love to fuck this guy. It was like, yeah, I would.
No, what did he say I would? He's like, I would clap. And I'm just like, so that means he's not doing anything else. Everything else is off the table. Like, there's no kissing. There's no him unbuttoning my shirt.
I love that you're getting offended. Not that you were come on to by another man. The gay thing's totally fine. It's that he won't hold you after.
Here's the thing, ladies. This is specifically to the ladies who are like, I don't like being objectified. I'm more than just the sum of my parts. I'm not just my body. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's nice to get catcalled, goddammit.
Yep.
Take it from people who never get catcalled.
Ever.
And when it does come, it's an errant, slightly offensive comment from some dude when I'm not even interested in that gender.
Dude, today.
Still made me feel incredible.
Today, before you got here, my wife, I changed clothes, got a shower because I was covered in grass. And she's like, it starts like really good. She's like, who gave you permission? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, to look that damn fine. And I was like, all right. She goes, no, seriously, why do you look good? And I was like, okay, well, now it's getting mean. She's like, I don't know. There's something about what you're doing right now. Just, it looks good. And I don't know why. I'm like, okay. Why does it have to hurt? I don't know why you had to put the hurt in there. Just be like, damn, let me suck that dick. But no, it's like, why do you look cute today? Like, why?
My wife's the opposite. Ugh. We went to J. Crew today. J. Crew outlet. Big bucks.
Damn, you
We
ballin'.
went there because we're going to the beach for a bachelor thing. And we were like, let's get some beach clothes.
Yeah.
And I go to try on a shirt. And I'm just like, hell yeah. I'm like, I've tried on. I'm like, man, I'm going to look so cool. I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I look like shit. I look like hammered dog shit. The shoulders never fucking fit. Because I always have to go a size up so the buttons will make its way around my stomach, but then the shoulders hang off the side. I look terrible, right? And then I tell Kayla about it, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is me. I don't know. She goes, no, it's great. We go back there. J. Crew outlet, we still spent almost $300 on 2 outfits.
Oof.
And then we get home, and like on the car ride home, I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever going to wear it. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if that fits. And she goes, yeah, maybe you should take it back. And I was like, well, let me get home. I'll try it on one more time. And
Well, I don't know. Give it a chance.
I said, let me get home. I'll try it on one more time. We'll see if we still like it. And then I get home, and then the clothes are sat out with the receipt. She's like, please take those back tomorrow. She's like, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Like, I was being nice in the store, and the thing happens when you get up there, and it's more expensive than you thought. Yeah. And then they look at you. You don't want to be like,
I'll lie to you for $20, but for $300, we're taking it back.
We'll take it back. But I've done that several times. I've been in a store. It was when the big Red Wing Iron Ranger phase was coming out because everybody had to look like they worked in an iron mill in the 1910s in North Dakota. It was like the big hipster craze, and we went into this boutique shop somewhere in Asheville, North Carolina, and I walk in, and they've got these cool boots, and I go to try them on. I'm like, damn, I do look like I could play in some Mumford & Sons songs right now. I'm like, these look pretty cool. What do you think? How do you think I pull them on? She goes, those are really nice boots. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, how much are these? And the guy goes, $350. I'm like, take them off. Take them off my feet right now. I'm like, pull them off. But I didn't say that. I just had that internal panic. Yeah. I was just like, I'm not going to drop.
So you do the thing where you don't want anyone to know you're poor. So you're like, that's not bad. Not bad.
No.
It's not bad. I won't be able to eat this week, but it's not bad.
That's exactly what I did. And then I go to Palm, and then the guy goes, yeah, they're pretty expensive. And I was just like, swipe my fucking card. Swipe my fucking card. Take my blood.
No, not that one. Not that one.
Not that one. Hold on, let me call my bank. Yeah, I have 2 debit cards. I'm pretty rich. I have 2 debit cards.
You ever had your card decline?
Yes.
What's your excuse? Because I'll tell you mine. I want to see what yours is.
What's the excuse?
Because you don't just be like, yeah, I'm poor. Like, you have something, right?
That's a new card.
There it is.
That is a new card because they're sending me a new one, and that's like the old one. So it's not the new card. That's the old card.
I play it like I'm an idiot, right? Like, I like get mad at myself.
Oh, you're like, I haven't activated it yet.
No, I'm like, oh yeah, duh, that card's not gonna work. I don't know why I handed you that when I forgot I closed that account. It's like I didn't close it; they closed it for me. It is in the red. Dude. So I'm always like, I forgot I closed that account. Here, try this one. Sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention. I was on my phone. I didn't see the same color. He's like, this one's silver. You're like, yeah, but like with the reflection of run it. It's a Big Mac. Run it.
No, I haven't had a card decline since I was in high school, or 12 years after. But I was, I remember several times where I'd need to get gas, and I'd be on a date, and I'm like, I gotta get gas, and because I'm out, like it's so far past it's like 20 miles still empty, 5 miles still empty. It's like, fucking, come on, dude. And then you've still driven it around for 2 days, and you're like, oh god, I'm ruining the fuel pump. I've got to do something. So then I remember pulling out my phone. I had a stock because Acorn was the thing at the time.
Nice.
So I remember I sold a Ford stock because I'm like, I like their products. They say buy what you like. I had Ford, a tiny piece of Starbucks, and I sold it $12. And then they were like, we'll instant transfer this, but we're going to take $5. And I was like, well, I need it now. So I had $7 instant transfer, and I'm sitting there refresh on my fucking shitty bank, refresh. And then I had to move it from savings because I'm like, why did I give them my savings account? And I had to move it into my debit card.
Oh, I'm going to put my stocks in my savings. That way it can balloon. You're like, no, I'm going to need that $7 for gas.
And then I had my $7 in my debit card, and I put it in the gas tank, and it wouldn't run. And I was like, this is fucking bullshit. I was like, and I went in there and I went full Karen. I'm like, I know there's money on this.
I know exactly how much. I just refreshed.
I went in there and I was acting all shitty and I was like, just stay in the car. I've got this. And, the girl, she was sitting in the car and I was walking and I was like, I've got this. And she's sitting in the car. I'm like, good. And because I was going to be like, hey, man, something's going on. I've got money on this.
Yeah.
And she's in the car, so I'm cool, which was great because the next words out of their mouth was like, well, they authorized it for $20. And I was like, oh, well, see, that in lies the problems because I'm $13 short. And you try to use your richest voice, too. You're like, excuse me, my good man. I happen to be $13 short of the fare required to power my Mercury Cougar. I'm driving a 2001 Mercury Cougar. It's very nice. It's named after a sexual predator and our biggest land carnivore. And then as soon as he said that, he goes, "Oh yeah, you need at least $20." That's when the date at the time walks in. I'm like, son of a bitch. So she knew I didn't have $20 fucking on the card.
Oof. Oof.
And then that's also when I knew, so I had to prepay $7, go back there, get a little bit of gas, go do whatever. And then we broke up shortly after, and I was like, yeah, this probably was never going to work out.
Probably a factor.
Well, her family would go eat on the weekends at Red Lobster, and I was like, God, it must be nice to be a millionaire. I wish I had a trust fund.
I remember us talking
The shrimp
about
are endless.
I remember us talking about that. First time you went out with her parents and they went to Red Lobster or somewhere like that. And I was like, damn.
I was shitting bricks because I was like, I
damn,
hope they don't ask me to pay.
How'd you afford that? They paid for it. I'm like, nuh-uh.
Sometimes.
It was a big deal for me.
Sometimes they wouldn't pay. Sometimes I would have to get my own. So that's why I would always be like, I will have the popcorn shrimp appetizer, please.
I'm just not hungry.
Yeah, I'm trying to cut weight.
I'm cutting. I'm
hungover as shit from the night before drinking 28 fucking Mike's Hard Lemonades with you. And I'm like, I've got to get something on my stomach or they going to think I'm possessed by the devil. This boy's just puking green bile everywhere. I could tell they took me to church. I started going to the rich ass fucking church all the time. So if I would have thrown up green bile, they would have been like, I knew it. The boy had the devil in him.
He did have the devil in him.
That's what happens. You got to be Presbyterian. Come to Jesus.
Oh my God. That's great. Yep. I've been known to transfer a little Coinbase cash to pay for gas before.
Sell a stock.
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably not going to go anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, how high could it be? It's at $12 right now. Sell.
Yeah, dude, I did it. I did it, and I thought I was king shit because I made $100 on Bitcoin. I was like, I told you this thing was going to be a thing, man. Transferred that $100, filled up the gas tank, got a cheeseburger, and I was like, see, that was free money. I'm playing this I filled up my truck. That was huge for me. I was like, filled it up, got me a burger, and I got $20 left.
You're walking into the
playing with
big
house money. And now it's $20,000 a piece. I'm like, if I just held that, I've done the math.
I think it's $80,000 a piece.
Every time it hits a new high, I do the math, and I'm like, that would be $175,000 today if I just held it. I do it all the time, and it hurts my heart every
But it does feel good to walk into the BK lounge with an extra swingling and your dingling, and they're like, what's going on? You're like, oh, don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, supersize me. Fuck yeah.
You want to make it a large? You know what? I do.
Throw on some chicken fries. Dude, sometimes you get a hard piece, feels like a knuckle, and you're like, these really are chicken fingers. Cause
the chicken fries. That's when you know you're balling. You're like, you know what? Throw chicken fry on there, too. Because the chicken fry's not enough for a meal.
I was telling Kayla, I could tell we've gotten some more money, which here's the great thing, is I had a girlfriend that was too rich for my blood.
Yeah.
And then I got with Kayla. Well, first off, she was too badass for my blood.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure you remember that you were my wingman at the time.
Yeah.
And whenever
Dude,
I got
I thought
with her,
she was going to kill you. she was gangster.
I didn't realize that I was dating a young black man.
Yeah, dude.
Because every time I saw her,
okay, well, now it makes me look bad when I was like, I thought she was going to kill you. She was gangster as fuck. You're like, yeah, she was black. That makes me look.
That's so bad.
We were on two separate paths that happened to collide, and it sounded right.
I just meant the way she talked, because every time I'd see her, she'd go, hey.
Yeah.
I was like, why is your voice so deep? And then she'd be like, what up, boy? And then I was like, I'd message her.
True.
I
was there. It's true.
So true. And I'd just be like, what are you doing this weekend? She goes, just hanging out with my boys. Might try to drink a little, And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, this girl is way too cool for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then she had a Toyota Yaris, which looked like a fucking Easter egg. But she took her income tax money and bought rims. Fuck yeah, dude.
As you do.
Something that people in trailer parks and in the ghetto can. That's where we can end racism and come together.
Yep.
One thing we love doing is blowing our income tax returns on frivolous automobile
parts, yeah.
upgrades.
Yeah.
Keeping fucking Keystone and goddamn AutoZone in business. since
Keystone, the beer company?
No, Keystone, the catalog, where you buy like fucking Pioneer speakers, and like the coolest thing about the speaker was that there was a guy surfing on the front of it.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
okay.
talking about?
I didn't know it was called the Keystone catalog. I was like, I mean, they do drink Keystone.
They do drink Keystone.
People in trailer parks.
So she would come up and she would pick me up, and we'd go on rides because I didn't have gas money. And she would go to pick me up, and she'd come by in her little Toyota Yaris, blacked out. This thing was murdered out. Window tint,
Murdered
rims, black, smoked tail lights. And I'd get in the car, and I'm like, "How are you driving?" Because her seat was all the way back, and then it was reclined all the way back.
Hey.
Lean back like this, just listening to music that was chopped and screwed. I'm like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "I don't even know. You got to get it from a guy." And I'm just like, "You have a tune stealer?" And I'm like, "I've mostly been just listening to K-Rock." I'm like, it's whatever. I have
heard
a
of
satellite
J104.5?
radio subscription thing, and I just listen to them on repeat, play how I should buy the subscription. It's pretty good. So I was like, she's way too cool for me.
Yeah.
Then we start dating. She starts softening up a little bit. And then one night, she's like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And I'm just like, "I got to be honest with you." And I was just like, "I'm going to come clean. She's going to break up with me now." I'm like, "I don't have any money," because I was working at Food Lion, making $5.15 an hour. And oh, yeah, you might have pulled a 40-hour shift. When you're 16, you're like, "That's the longest goddamn day of my motherfucking life. How do people do this? Just kill me, dog." And then you get your paycheck for $28. And you're like, "What? Taxes? What the fuck's a FICA? Fuck Social Security. I'm 16. What are you taking it from me for? I'm voting Trump." And I'm like, "Who?" And I'm like, "You heard what I said." That was where I was at. So I didn't have any fucking money, because you'd get that amount of money and they're like, "Oh, yeah, your piece of shit car that you were driving, it needs a new battery or something." You're like, "Well, there's your fucking next 2 weeks."
Yep.
You're actually in the hole. You had to borrow money from a relative that the only time you ever talked to him
I
was when you're
was
like,
going to go out this weekend, but instead I would like to borrow some money to fix my car to go to work to not pay for another weekend.
no, you just show up to a great uncle's house that's never seen you before with your hat, and you're ringing it like, "Hello, sir. I require some more. Please, sir. I need a battery so I can try to get my penis wet."
Which they could never grasp, because they grew up at a time where like you could make $5.50 an hour and buy a mansion in the hills,
Oh,
raise a ton of kids. It was like, I don't even have enough money to eat this week. I'm so dead broke that I have no money. Like, the only food I'm getting is if my mom cooks, and let me tell you, she ain't.
brother. But like, I remember I got a raise from $5.15 to $5.75.
Big.
And my grandma was like, "Oh my God, you don't even need to go to college anymore. They're paying you so well." And I was like, we were in that weird time where like inflation was here, like things were still expensive, things were still relatively expensive. But then the minimum wage didn't hit that $7.25 jump. And now, fuck a $7.25. They're like, "We will give you $1 million a year to come work at McDonald's. We're desperate. We're about to start putting robots in here flipping fucking burgers. If these kids won't, we're paying good salaries. I don't know what we're doing wrong."
And all the kids are like, "Yeah, I'm really working on my influencer career right now."
It is the craziest thing, because like I'll drive by a Buc-ee's and it's just like the store manager makes $240,000 a year, and I'm like, "What the fuck are we doing?"
And where are the applications?
I was a front end manager at Food Line, and I got a raise from $5.15 to $5.50, and I was damn lucky to have it.
I now see where our parents come from with that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? When I was a kid, and I'm like, I can't believe that.
It's
like,
just jealousy. We're just jealous of what
that's
you motherfuckers
100%
have right now.
Exactly right.
I'm so pissed off that you can go work at Food Line, like, "But we can't live, we can't buy a house." I'm like, bitch, you ain't ever going to buy a house. You wasn't ever going to buy a house. You work at Foot Locker. You're not supposed to have a house if you work at Foot Locker. Foot Locker is not a house-owning job.
It's a locker owning job.
Yes, it's not for real estate. It's for people, and I'm not going to be one of these people that's like, "Well, fast food jobs are for small children and people who are trying to build their credit." No. You can have a life, but you're going to have a life in an apartment.
Yeah.
You're going to always have to fill out that second line on your shipping address.
Yeah.
And it's like, "Here's my main address, apartment 737B.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to have to put on there. And that's fine. That's great.
That's a totally fine way to live.
But back to the Kayla thing. This is how I knew she was going to work for me. It was like, once she started softening up and she stopped being so fucking thug nasty, she was still that. But she came over one night and she was like, "What do you want to do tonight?" And I was like, "I got to be honest with you. I don't know if I can afford to do anything." And then I was like, this is the moment where she's like, well, I ain't gonna date no fucking broke bitch. I need somebody making 6
Hat in
figures.
hand, you're like, I'm apologizing for who I am. Yeah, I can see where you get that thought.
And she goes, that's all right. She's like, we can just stay here and watch TV and finger or something. And, no, she didn't say that. She's like, that's okay. We can just stick around. And here's what I came up with. So here's this thing. And I don't know if I ever told you about it. There's a magic couch in our house.
Uh-huh.
No matter when or where, or what time it is, or how you're feeling, doesn't matter how soon you've checked. It's when you need it. When you need it the most, you can flip those cushions and get enough coins to count change.
What?
It never stops giving.
That's amazing.
So there was this couch that we would just flip the coins and we would just grab all the change on it. And like when you need, like you're like, I'm gonna check it just to see if I had what I had the other day. It's been a few weeks. I'm gonna check it. It wasn't there. When you're like, God, I don't have any money to go on this date. You go flip these couch cushions, and wouldn't you know it, there'd be so much silver and copper gold in there. So here's what we did. We ended up getting a bunch of change out of the couch, and then Kayla sat there and rolled it with me, and we rolled the change until we had about $25. Which is,
damn.
My dad has heavy pockets, dude.
I was going to say,
Just always fell
damn.
asleep on that couch, and he's just like, well, I'm always broke.
Hang on, I got to go check something real quick.
So
I've never flipped the cushions in my couch. There's probably dead bodies in that son of a bitch.
Well, nobody has, like, my dad still does cash. He doesn't do cards.
Yeah.
So there's always coins in there. And we would roll the change, and then we would go to the local gas station. We would get scratch tickets and play. And if it was a good night, you could sit there for about an hour with your babe, maybe get enough extra cash to get you some nabs and a Coca-Cola. Sit there and just have a real nice night. And
romance.
well, I'm sitting there in a booth that's designed for the deli of a Exxon gas station.
Wardell Quick Stop?
No.
Oh. That had a good scratching seat.
Daryl's.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I'm sitting there, and we're sitting in.
Oh, yeah, Daryl. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. We're sitting in the booth, and like the deli's closed. We're sitting in the booth, and we're scratching tickets. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, man, if I could 360 out of this, if I could just zoom out and look at what's going on right now, there's just a couple who counted couch coins to come here and buy gambling tickets so they could scratch them. And that is how that's date night.
Yep.
And I was like,
That's
the fact
fucking-
that she didn't run away screaming.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I'm going to have to marry this one. You just, when you win, you win. You know what I'm saying?
That's ride or die shit right there. That's 100%. And I love my wife with everything in me. But if I was like, hey, I don't have money to do anything, you want to count couch cushions and go scratch lottery tickets? She'd be like, I have to go.
Okay, so.
We lost camera.
Yeah, sorry, guys. We lost camera.
Thanks for watching, listening of Trailer Fire. We will catch you guys next week. And make sure you spread the word, like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff you have to say when you're on YouTube. But for real, if you think we're entertaining and enjoy listening to us, just have somebody else listen. They might enjoy it too, right?
Yeah, share it to a friend. Spread the fire.
Don't say
You like that?
No, I don't.
ChatGPT said I should say that.
Please don't say that.